Walt Disney figured out something in the 1950s that most of us modern businesses still haven't caught up to. If your growth feels chaotic, random, or exhausting, it's probably because you're missing what Disney himself figured out over 70 years ago: a connected system that multiplies everything you do. Now, this video is a little bit different. Most Disney breakdowns talk about storytelling, creativity, and brand magic. But I want to talk about scalability, because the Walt Disney Company didn't scale because they were creative. They scaled because they engineered an ecosystem where every part feeds into the next. Now, it might break your little hearts a little bit, but that is not magic, my friends. That is systems design. Now, this right here is one of my favorite images on the planet. This is the Disney strategy map. The reason it matters is really, really simple. Disney wasn't built like a company, like in your typical structure with departments. It was built like a loop, as you can see here in the map, a system where every asset is able to increase the power of the next. This isn't a list of things that Disney does. It's a map of how value moves through the business. Notice how nothing here stands alone. Everything in the map feeds to something else. All right, team, now look really, really close. Our map here isn't showing what Disney makes. It's showing how the company grows. Movies aren't just there to entertain us. They create characters. And if we follow the lines here, the characters create demand for merchandise. Now that merchandise spreads the brand beyond the cinema, beyond our TVs, beyond our computer screens. That brand then drives experiences in the parks. And those experiences create identity level loyalty. And that loyalty makes the next movie launch bigger than the last. That's the difference. This is not a campaign. This is this insanely massive, profitable feedback engine. It is absolutely incredible. Now, most companies organize by departments. The Walt Disney Company organizes by momentum. Now, just a reminder, what you're looking at isn't magic. It isn't creativity. This is systems, processes, and architecture. Now you get it? This is why Disney can feel absolutely unstoppable. We're not looking at separate departments, separate silos. It's all this interconnected system. And as a business, a lot of us don't actually have a growth problem. We have this connection problem. So what happens? We get content that potentially isn't leading us anywhere. An offer that we've created and have out on the shelves that doesn't build momentum. It could be onboarding with our clients that doesn't create loyalty. Could be delivery that doesn't generate referrals, or marketing that feels like we're starting over and over again every single week. And that's why growth can feel really, really exhausting. So it's not because you're bad at business. It's because we're doing everything in these buckets or in these silos. Now, one thing to point out, the arrows actually matter more than the boxes. That's where the strategy lives. This explains why Disney doesn't need just one hit. The system keeps producing them. Now, let's get really practical. If you want to be like Disney, you don't copy their products. Let's copy their thinking. And I'm going to show you now how we do it. This is how you're going to build your own business growth map. Now, step number one is to pick your movie, the thing that creates demand. So that's the first thing we're going to need. It creates attention, it creates demand. And I don't want you to think of this as content just for the sake of content. Content that makes people want the next step. So maybe it's your signature framework. Maybe it's a way that you get a particular result for your clients. Maybe it's a YouTube series like this one. Maybe it's a podcast. It could be a weekly newsletter, a really rock solid lead magnet that solves a really specific problem for your potential clients. Or could just be a workshop or a webinar. And the thing that we want to do is we want to ask ourselves, if someone absorbs this or consumes this, whatever it is, what do they want next? If the answer is nothing, that is not your movie. You've just created noise, and that's not what we're all about. So the big takeaway here for your movie, your first step, they have to be left wanting for something more. So you're solving a challenge for them that then creates a new problem or a new challenge. Leave them wanting for more. Now, if you remove any one piece, the system falls apart. That's intentional design. Now, step 2, this is where you build your merch or your scalable product layer, if you like. So this is the thing that monetizes the demand without requiring more of you every time. So think about those smaller products that you create once and can sell many times. So let's think of examples. It could be a template pack, it could be a paid mini course, it could be a self-paced program, a toolkit, an audit offer, or a low ticket entry offer. So think about in this set, so second step, what can I sell that delivers value really quickly and also shows that I'm the real deal? This is the merch layer. And this is not just about, yes, it's going to create you some revenue, which is absolutely fantastic. It's also going to build trust with your clients, because once someone has spent $1 with you, they feel safer to spend more money with you as long as you've delivered a really great product. Now, step 3 is to create your park, your Disneyland, your Walt Disney World, your premium experience. This is where people will go deeper, they'll stay longer, and we build that really rock solid loyalty. So examples could be high ticket coaching, could be a done for you service, could be a retainer model, maybe a membership program, a live implementation program, or a high touch experience. Now, here's what you need to remember when we're looking at our parks. What experience can you create that turns your clients into believers, to raving fans? And that's where you stop just being someone that supplies stuff and you become the obvious choice and their go-to choice. Disney's question wasn't, what should we make next? It was, what should this lead to? Step 4. This is where we install our distribution model. So we build in distribution that feeds the whole system. So this is not us deciding randomly to post here, there, and there, or try this random new platform. We create a repeatable loop. So for example, it could be YouTube, and we might put a little call to action in the YouTube show description about, hey, want some more information? Come and join our email list. LinkedIn, it could be about getting calls booked. Maybe you have partnerships with other entrepreneurs, founders such as yourself, and maybe you want referrals. Maybe you have a community and that creates retention and a set of eyeballs that's always on you. Clients can become case studies and can become content. So, team, think of it this way. Where does attention enter your world and where does it go next? This is all about you being in control of every step in the process. If attention enters and then stays in your inbox, you haven't done your job here. You've just got, a dead end, which is not serving you at all. Now, step 5, connect it into a loop. This is where most of us miss as business owners, as founders. Your business can only compound when everything feeds into the next one. So I want you to zoom out and think of Walt Disney's whole map there. So content leads to offers. Offers lead to delivery. Delivery leads to proof. Proof leads to more content. Clients lead to referrals, and referrals lead to easier sales. That's the loop. That is the map. And the coolest part about the map is that it answers the question, how does one success create the next? Once you see this, it's not hard to understand that many businesses are just built in silos. Now, let's get really practical here. This is what I want to call the Disney check. If you stopped marketing for 30 days, would your business still grow? Now, you think about the Walt Disney Company. If they stopped marketing for 30 days, do you think anyone would notice? No, because people still have Disney Plus in their homes. They still are constantly talking about Disney films, Disney TV shows. All my circle have been talking about at the moment is Andor. We watched Andor, and then, oh, by the way, we watched Rogue One. This is Star Wars for those playing at home that aren't sure. And then we had to start watching the whole Star Wars trilogy, first original trilogy again. So you can see how everything leads into the next thing. So if you stopped marketing for 30 days, would you still grow? And if the answer is no, you don't have a loop yet. You have growth that is dependent on your effort and you showing up day after day after day. So most of us, we try to scale by doing more, being in more places, doing more things. Disney teaches us that we can scale by designing better and making each asset work harder for us. So, hey, if growth feels chaotic, you don't need more hustle. You need a little bit of Disney magic and you need a map. Thanks for tuning in.